my name is Sarah. Welcome to the It's a Sarah podcast. Today it is Monday, January 22, 2024, and this is episode 124. I'm coming to you from the Netherlands, so excuse my Dutchy English. I love to knit, I love to crochet, and I love to talk. So that's the perfect combination for making this podcast. I make my episodes in Dutch and in English, so be sure you pick the right one. Okay, let's dive into my handwerk perikelen, my crafty adventures. I'm in a very good knitting flow, especially knitting. I also do crochet every day. Crochet is always good, but the knitting is going very well, and I can't wait to share my knitting with you. Just in a minute. Let's start with what I'm wearing. I am wearing not a lot hand knits today. My socks and my leg warmers are, but not something I made. This is absolutely one of my favorite cardigans, and maybe you have seen it before on the podcast, but this is a thrifted one. And I thrifted it many years ago, maybe 8, maybe 10. And it was in the time I wasn't a knitter yet. And it was also in the time I thought I never would be a knitter because it was way too hard for me, too difficult. But it was also in the time I really loved the colorwork yokes specific. I think the colorwork yokes are the reason I started knitting. But I was very happy when I found this cardigan in the thrift store. It's an old cardigan. It's a 100% woolly cardigan. And it's handmade. It has no label, and I have no idea who made it, and also not what kind of yarn it is. But you can feel it. I'm pretty sure it is wool. No, not pretty. I am sure it is wool. I know that. I feel that. And I did wear it. I do wear it all the time since 8 years at least, and you can see that because it's pilling, and I do give it a little deep pill every now and then, but it's not working anymore, I guess. And it's a bit the color is supposed to be off-white, but how do you call it in English? In Dutch we say het is een beetje grauw. When your off-white colored item gets a little bit of a grey, dirty layer, and not very clear stains or whatever, but just by wearing it too much, especially when you have white items. We don't wear white a lot here in the house. When my kids were little, I never bought white clothes for them because I couldn't get it clean in the laundry. So I just didn't put it on my kids. But this is really nice. I have bought yarn. I have it in my stash for more than 2 years now in the same colorway. I want to re-knit it. I don't know if it's it's not a pattern I know. I did a quick search on Ravelry, but I think it's quite easy to re-knit because it is an Aran weight, I guess. Aran? What's next to Aran? You have worsted Aran. Is it bulky? Is there chunky? No, I don't know. I don't know the terms, but it's quite a thick yarn. I have Rauma Vams. I've never knitted with it before, and I think it's a little bit of the same gauge, but it didn't happen yet. So it will happen, but I don't know when. And until then, I just keep wearing the cardigan. It's not looking good anymore, but there's a lot of love in it. I hope from the one who knitted the cardigan, but also from me, I feel always good in this cardigan. So that's very nice. But I feel always good. But now it's a little bit warm, so I will put it out. The weather is a bit confusing. We had a very cold and snowy week last week, and it's quite rare in the Netherlands. And now, last night, the weather changed completely. The temperature raised quite a lot, so it's I think 12 degrees today. It's quite spring. It feels a bit like spring, and in the morning it was really dark and raining, and there was a lot of wind. And when I was filming my Dutch episodes, I really need an extra light, and I was filming, but I need to stop because the rain was so hard falling on the rooftop. It was too noisy. And now the sun is shining and I see blue sky, so it's a bit confusing, but it's also quite warm, so I don't need a cardigan. I always close the windows when I'm filming because of the noise from outside, but I also don't want other people hear me talking about my knitting inside when they are in the garden. So it can be a little bit warm. I'm wearing a kind of hinterland dress, not an official one, not a one made by me, but this is a Simply Grey dress. Simply Grey is a company, I think in, how do you say it in English? In Dutch we say Litouwen, not Latvia, that's the other country. Or is it Latvia? I don't know. Simply Grey Life, I will link it down below. And this jurk, jurk is the Dutch word for dress. This dress is given to me by a Dutch little shop owner, an online shop, which is called Little Shop Around the Corner. It's a lovely lady and she sells the most beautiful stuff, all kinds of stuff, also yarn, but also things for your little children, the bracelets, the necklace, everything. And I really love her shop. And she gave this dress to me, and it's really I think I have the color chestnut, and it's really, I love those kind of dresses. They are so nice. It's a linen dress. This is a thin linen, and it's a perfect solution when you can't make your own dress, or you don't want to make your own dress because you're busy with your knitting or crochet. So yeah, it's really nice. I think they ship overseas. I don't know. There are more companies with linen dresses. So yeah, I will link the Simply Grey one down below. I will also link the Little Shop Around the Corner down below, but I don't think she ship overseas. I don't know. But then you can take a look. Okay, let's start with the knitting. Yes, let's start with the knitting. I had such a good knitting week. 2024 brought so much nice creative energy with it for me, and 2023 was also good, but I am really feeling the vibe, and I always am, but now I even feel it more. I was such in a good knitting flow. It was really nice and comfortable, and I was really enjoying myself. And I think I have to mention that I have a lot of knitting time, and I quite often read in the comments, you're so quick and you make so much. And I think my knitting circumferences, is that circumferences? No, that's your bust circumference. My knitting, I don't know the English word. My life is good for a lot of knitting at the moment, and knitting and crocheting is also one of my priorities, but I always say knitting is my job, and it's more than a full-time job. So I never think it's a good idea to compare yourself with others. Just be who you are and do what you do, and of course you can get inspired by others, but not feeling down when you see that other people are making more than you are, or quicker, or whatever. I have a small size, I have a lot of time, so I can make a lot of things. But when you have little kids, or busy, or you can't knit fast, I don't think I'm a fast knitter. I make a lot of mistakes, so I have to rip out and re-knit again. I'm also not a slow knitter, but I just knit a lot. So if you and that means that there are a lot of things I don't do because I prefer knitting. So yeah, I think it's important. I would be disappointed when people are feeling bad. Now, bad is not a good word. Feeling down because they think, oh, I can't make it so quick, or I can't make so much as she does, and not really me, but all the people who are sharing their progress, because it's not about how much you make, or it's not about how quick you make it, but it's how much fun you have. And yeah, don't compare. It's not, you're good as you are. That's what I want to say. Yeah. Okay. But that said, I want to bring you to my knitting. because I'm very proud. It was such a nice, what was it? A nice knitting adventure? No, not the knitting adventure. It's still going on. I am knitting on the Arctic Light sweater. It's a pattern by Kutovakika, Veronica Lindberg, and I did knit the collar, and I started with the cable pattern last week. And I was very impressed by the cables, overwhelmed by the chart. It looked like Chinese for me. I thought, oh my, what? That's a lot. So I was really, I really needed to have a quiet place and a lot of time to focus on the chart. The sweater will be for my 14-year-old daughter. She chose this pattern. Of course, I showed it to her. I don't know how it went, but I have my doubts about the fitting. I will tell you more about that in a minute. But she really wanted this sweater, and I started knitting it, and I used a lot of stitch markers. I used a lot of stitch markers, a good chart administration. Every time I knitted around, I colored the chart row, and it was really important that I paid attention and kept focused. So it was absolutely a no-go to bring it down with me into my family life, because I would be distracted and I would make mistakes. But after I finished the yoke, I must say, Veronica had, she made video tutorials, 3 parts. I think she organized a knit-along earlier, she explains all the pattern parts in a video tutorial. You can watch that on YouTube. You need the pattern, but you can watch the video tutorial. And I think it's such a talent when you can make such a difficult looking pattern so easy. So she's a talented woman, and my first experience was such an experience was with Stephen West when I knitted my first mystery knit along. It looked so complicated, and when I watched his videos and he said, oh, you just have to do this and that, I could knit all the complicated stitches, and it was much easier. Of course, it was not easy, and I need to pay attention, but it was just all those kind of combinations of knits and purls, and that was fascinating. And she did that too. She explains all the cable patterns. There are different cables, and she explains them all very well in her video tutorial, and they are so easy. And I did knit my swatch, it's behind there, without the video tutorials, and it was also working out. But the video tutorials did make it easier, but also fun. But because I think she's a very, she has a nice energy in her videos. I don't know if she always has that energy, but in her videos she's always such a bright personality and funny, and I don't know, that I felt that when I was knitting the yoke. So I worked through all the yoke, and then I set the sleeves apart. I did choose to not use waste yarn but cables, so I only have to twist my needle points on it, and I could knit on, but I don't have a lot of short cables, so they are on my wish list now. When I worked further on the body, and what I most of the time do, the fun part was she explains in her videos also how you can use the chart, because you have the chart for the yoke and for the raglan shaping, but then there's no specific chart. But she says you can follow it from row 25, I guess, and then you just knit further. But she also says the cable pattern is repetitive, and the cables repeats it's a bit different. Every cable is different, every 8th row, every 4th row, every 6th row, whatever. But when you have that rhythm, then you don't need the chart anymore. And I thought, oh yeah, I do need a chart. But then I tried, and then I realized I don't need a chart. I use stitch markers, so I can count the rows, and I know which row for which cable I have to cable. And the other rows are just knitting, and I can knit this without a chart. Every now and then I look, but I know the cables, all the cables by head right now. And it's just, I can do it without a chart. Can you imagine? Can you believe? If you told me that last week, I wouldn't believe you. Yeah. What I quite often do is first finish the sleeves before I finish the body. There's happening a lot in the body, but not there's no shaping or other. There's just a straight body repeating the pattern. And I quite often prefer to finish the sleeves first, so you have the good look, how it will look. The sleeves always looks a bit weird, and it helps me when the sleeves are finished to see how long I want the body to be. So I kept knitting until my yarn ball was. In Dutch we say op. When it was gone, when the skein was all knitted up. And there's a yarn tail end hanging there, and then I started knitting at the sleeve, and with the sleeve the same. I can knit it by head. I don't need a chart anymore, and it's just easy peasy. And I know I absolutely understand when you can't believe me, but it's really true. I will show it to you. It's such a fun pattern. It's such a fun knit. Let me take it close to you. I don't know if the lights... Do you see all the cables? They are so much fun. And also at the sleeve, there's a cable here. The light's not good, I'm sorry. And there are cables here with twisted stitches, and there's double seed stitch. It is so much fun. The yarn is fantastic to knit with. I never knitted a garment with it. It is Peruvian from Dlana. It's 100% Peruvian Highland wool. There you go. And I knit in the color 977, and I checked on Ravelry and it was called Marzipan. So it's really nice. It's a DK weight wool, 100 meters on 50 gram, and it's really it is the same yardage as perikelen from Sandnes. I knit the cardigan from my husband with, but this is a little bit more softer, I guess. So I really love it. So I'm knitting on the sleeve. And it's really, I'm really having fun. And I can knit down with my family around at the couch watching TV. I'm not really a TV watcher. I'm a knitter, but I listen a little bit to the television. I have my doubts about the fit. I had them before I started because I thought the raglan looked a little bit... I don't know. I saw something about it. Too deep, I don't really know. What I thought, but my girls, she really wanted this sweater. And when you knit a sweater, also for yourself, I knitted quite some sweaters with a fit that wasn't perfect. And every sweater or cardigan, I know better what suits me, what I want, what I like. And when you are knitting for someone else, especially when you are knitting for a 14-year-old girl, there is quite a chance that she will not be happy with it. It will be a little bit different than she hoped. When you are in the store, in the shop, you put on the sweater and you see a sweater and you say, oh, that's a nice one, and you put it on, and either you are happy with it and you buy it, or you think, oh no, the shape is not my shape, the fit is not perfect, and you hang it back. But with a hand knit sweater, especially with such a lot happening in the pattern, it's a little bit different. So it was really important for me before I started to ask myself the question, are you okay when she's not okay? Do you want to take the risk? And I said, yes, I do want to take the risk. And especially when I started knitting, I think I'm a product knitter. I'm focused on the end result. I really want to wear it myself or somebody else. But this knitting is also really a process knit. I'm so enjoying the process. So even when the fit will not be good, or when she doesn't like it, then it's still okay, because I'm so enjoying the process. I talked about your head, heart and hands in balance last episode, and those are really balanced while I'm knitting on this, and that's such a good feeling. It's such energizing, and I don't know, it's such a good experience. So yesterday I tried it on my I tried it on myself, and my doubts about the fit were there again, because there's quite a lot of fabric under the armpits, and of course the body is really short yet, so it's a little bit hard to tell how the end result will be. But I had my doubts, and then I looked at all the pattern pages on Ravelry and on Reddit, I guess. I googled on Reddit, and some people are very happy with their sweater and some people are complaining about the fit, and I didn't know what to do. And you have raglan increases at the sleeve and at the body at both sides here, and I'm not a knitting designer and I don't know a lot about it, but I thought, wouldn't it be better to stop with the sleeve increases earlier? So you skip some increases here to provide, is provide a good word? To provide a bulky armpit. But she didn't, Veronica, she didn't, and she is the professional, I am not. And for a few seconds I thought, I can rip out and try that. But then I immediately thought, no, I won't do that. I won't rip it out. I won't do it. So I looked at all the pictures, and there were also the pattern pictures from Veronica herself. There was always a little bit of fabric down the armpit, so maybe the design was meant to be this way. And then I tried it on my daughter, and she was so happy. She says, "It's so beautiful," and I said, "And what about the sleeve?" And she said, "No, that's not a problem. That's okay." And so I also thought, okay, it is cabled. I have to block it. Maybe I can stretch it a little bit out. So I decided to not worry about it. Just knit it on. Just follow the pattern and do not anything about it. There are no short rows in the pattern. I was so focused on the cable pattern that I realized it somewhere here. When does the short rows come? I'm a bit confused if I mentioned it in this podcast or it was in the Dutch podcast, but maybe when I noticed before I would add them in the color, but the designer chose not to add short rows, so maybe it will work out. So I don't know. So I just follow the pattern. My daughter wants me to do so, and I must say, I love to follow the pattern. I hope the fit will be okay. But it's really a lovely pattern. I'm not sure if I can recommend it. I can recommend the pattern because it's very well described, the video tutorials and also the pattern, and it's lovely. It's so much fun to do, but I don't know if I can recommend the fit. But that's also personal. So the pattern is really nice and lovely to follow, and it's really hard jumping for me to work on this, and I really hope the end result will also be hard jumping. And my daughter will be happy with it. So yeah, I work on this with a lot of pleasure and a lot of fun. And I really love to show my knitting. It's not in balance. I really love to show my knitting here because it's always in a project bag, and now yeah, it's nice. It's nice. You can watch a little bit. It's nice instead of painting or whatever. Just half of a knitted sweater. Okay, I started a new project too. It was my plan okay, easy peasy. It was my plan to work on this sweater when I was alone and when I had some quiet time, and I also needed a project for the nights and the family time. And I chose the Otra cardigan, the Otra worsted cardigan by Ellie from Skeindeer. It was on my list for quite a while. I owned the pattern for quite a while, and last year I received a yarn. It was given to me by a lovely Dutch lady. Now, a little bit of Dutch and a little bit of Spanish or Portuguese. Her name is Antonita, and she lived in Portugal for quite some years. I think she has Spanish parents. I don't know. There were a lot of nationalities, a lot of countries involved. But she started a web shop in the Netherlands with yarn from Portugal and Spain, and she gave some yarns to me to try, and also the Dlana Rústica. It's a Spanish merino yarn, non-superwash. It's a one-ply yarn, a woolen spun, and I really love to knit with it. I did swatch. I'm not really a swatcher, but 2024 is really making me swatch. I don't know why, I don't know, but I'm really having fun with the swatches. Maybe because of my new blocking mats. I was absolutely influenced by Lerke from Fiber Tales. Thank you, Lerke. I love them so much. And I have quite a lot of them, so I can leave my swatches on them and and enjoy. I want to have something at my wall I can pin the swatches, but I don't have a wall for that left, so I don't know what to do with it. But the yarn was pretty good, and I started swatching, and I shall show you because there happened a little bit. The Otra worsted cardigan is a all-over colorwork cardigan with a really easy peasy colorwork. The charts are so it are quite often a 3-stitch repeat in 2 colors, and really intuitive and easy peasy. I really love it. So I did knit the chart, the gauge swatch. I did knit the swatch, and I love the yarn. I love the combination of brown and white, but a little voice was screaming in my ear, "You need black instead of white." And I tried to ignore that voice because I thought this is meant to be. Ellie also in her swatch, in her design, used a darker main color and a bright neutral contrast color, and I really love the contrast because it's quite high contrast, and I love the colors. I forgot to tell, I have the undyed, the natural color of those yarns. This one is color MA and this is color BL, and they are not dyed, the natural colors of the sheep. This yarn is also available in a lot of colors, bright, dark, natural. There are a lot of colors, and it's quite an affordable yarn, so it's really lovely. And I only needed 5 skeins in my size. It's 100 gram, 193 meters. So yeah, Antonita says it are magic yarn balls. So yeah, I really love them, but I didn't have black. And yeah, I don't know what it was. I really love the contrast, but maybe it reminds me too much to my festive yoke pullover, also designed by Ellie from Skeindeer. I made around Christmas. And also there were some Dutch knitters making the festive yoke in a brown and white color combination, and I really love that. But I don't know, maybe I saw the color combination too much, and I really wanted in black. And I did have a black Peer Gynt yarn laying around, so I thought, okay, I actually bound off the swatch already, but I thought, okay, let's swatch with black, let's look, maybe you know then. So I picked up the stitches and I swatched in the black. And that's a very low contrast with the brown. It is not the right yarn because it is DK weight with worsted weight, and it's also a bit other kind of yarn. But it was important for me to see the color, the combination of the colors, and it's really low contrast. And I am quite sure when I'm showing you, you can hardly see the black. Let me stand on that side. Oh, this is better. I'm quite sure that most of the people would recommend this color combination because of the color pop. But I think I will definitely go for this one. I ordered 2 skeins of black in the same yarn, in the Rústica. I don't know. I like the low contrast. I like the color combination of brown and black, and I think it's okay. I'm not really sure, but I think it will be black. That little voice screaming into my ear, I think it was from my heart, and I tried to ignore it. And I also didn't want to buy new yarn because that's one of my New Year's resolutions. But it was too strong, and I really wanted to follow my heart, so I think I've done the right thing. But we shall see when the yarn arrives. I don't know if I will swatch again. Maybe I just cast on. I think I will do that. And when I don't like it, I can always rip it out. Yeah, but I'm quite sure it will be brown and black. But I was really having fun, and I already casted on the cardigan, because I was sure that my main color would be brown. And I also thought of the option to combine brown and black and white, but I only wanted 2 colors, so I didn't want to do that. So I started with the color, and I want to put my Sarah sauce over it. That's my most important New Year's resolution. To combine different parts of different patterns, so I can make garments that I really want to wear. And I finished my husband's cardigan. I showed it last week, and I really love the color and the zipper in the cardigan. So I want to be my Otra cardigan with a color and a zipper. So I cast it on with Judy's Magic Cast On, and I knit it back and forth, and the yarn is really nice. And I'm not there yet, but I have to fold it double, and then when it's big enough, I have a big color, and then I will start the Otra cardigan. I follow the pattern, and then I will stick it and add a zipper. So I'm very excited, and I think it will be lovely. I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm working on it, and I can't wait to start the color work with the black. And I hope it is the good decision. And if it's not, I can always use the white, but I really love it. I saw a Ravelry page with someone who had white as the main color, and all the charts with different colors. And it's perfect for a scrappy cardigan. I have a lot of Let Lopi scraps, and I also have a sweater quantity of white. I would love to have a cardigan with all the different colors, and that would be a very good pattern for it too, I guess. So yeah, looking forward to that. Then this is a blocking disaster. Last week I showed you my classic ribbed hat from Purl Soho on the vintage hat, and there was a Dutch lady, and she suggested, oh, you can block on the hat. When you put some plastic bags over the hat to protect it from the water, you can use it as a blocking shape. And I thought that was a good idea. So I did, and it was really nice because the yarn was really blocking out good. The stitches were nice and neat, but it's also a superwash merino, so the head did grow very, very big, and that was not what I wanted. I won't put it on because that wouldn't work with my hair, but it's very loose and right now, and it was actually quite snug, and maybe it was not the best idea to the head has some negative ease. Of course, I didn't think about that. When it was a colorwork head, it would be perfect to block it on this, but a negative ease head which you want to snug on your head, maybe it was better to block it flat. So I learned that now, and I was a bit disappointed about the growing head, but maybe now it can be a slouchy beanie. I will block it again, because I did block it with a folded brim, but that's too wide now. But maybe my girls like to wear it slouchy. It is very how do you say it? Very drapey. It has a nice drape right now, but it was not meant to be. But I think it will work out too. But next time I knit a merino woolen head, I won't block it again on the vintage head. Not only merino, also a rustic yarn. When it's in rib stitch, don't block it out. When it's color work, you can block it out, but not in rib stitch. Yeah. And then, last but not least, I applied for a test knit, and that was not what I had in mind for this year, because I really want to create as much as time as possible for my Sarah Sauce projects. And last year I decided to not buy new patterns anymore. I failed, and the first in the beginning of the year, my brain was finding sneaky ways to add new patterns on my pattern stash by applying for test knits. And Rebecca from the Crea Bea, she's really my weak spot. I really love her designs. I always love them. There are not always sometimes they have a high neckline, and that's not really my thing, but I love her designs, and I love her process, and the way she shares about her process, and I don't know, just I'm impressed by the way she does it and how her brain works, and she just creates so much, and yeah, that's really inspiring. And last year I did do some test knits for her, and then I completely failed in my resolution to not buy any new patterns, and now I felt, oh, here we go again. It always starts with test knitting for Rebecca, and then I am lost. But she designed a new pattern, the Lauder pattern. I hope I pronounce it right. Lauder. And what I love at her patterns, at some of them, there are so many possibilities. The Lauder pattern is a cabled garment pattern, and you can make a sweater with a round neckline or a V-shaped neckline. You can make a cardigan with a round neckline or a V-shaped neckline, or a vest with a round neckline or a V-shaped neckline. And there are even more possibilities. And I love the vest, and I saw it on her Instagram last week, and I was wearing my own vest. I don't made a lot of vests, but I really love to wear them as an extra layer under a cardigan, or just as an extra layer when it's a little bit warmer, and on a skirt, and I was really loving it. And then she had a test knit call, and I just dived into it. And I was aware about my weak spot and my resolutions, but I also really love the construction in a DK weight yarn with a V-shaped neckline and all the shaping, and I thought I can really use that construction for my Sarah Sauce project. So I just dived in, and I was allowed to do the test knit, so that's really nice. I made a little swatch. I'm not planning to start the test knit immediately, because I'm focusing on that one now, and when my Otra cardigan is running, and then I will start the test knit. But there is quite some time. Of course, I'm only making the vest, so there are no sleeves. But I wanted to start with the swatch already, and I love swatching. That's really a new experience to me. I chose for yarn from Zwarte Ferret. It's from my stash, Ulrika Natur. I bought it at Etna, That's a Swedish company, but they also have a Dutch web shop right now, and I think I bought it in 2022. I have quite some colors. It's also a DK weight, the same yardage as the Dlana. It feels more like perikelen. But I saw on the label, it's made in India. It sounds Ulrika Natur. It sounds Swedish. And oh yeah, I'm knitting with Swedish yarn. And then there was on the label, made in India. And that kind of disturbs my romantic Scandinavian feeling with the yarn. But nevertheless, it is nice yarn. In a beautiful colorway. It is a little bit of a heathered brown. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe from that side it's better. And it's in the colorway 327006. Maybe it's a good match with this dress. It would be one colorway, yeah. It's an easy peasy cable pattern, especially after that cable pattern. 2 cables, repeating all the time. I did make a mistake because it was so easy. I didn't really pay enough attention, but I'm really good in fixing cable mistakes nowadays, because I just can drop the stitches for the cable, and I have needed to do that once with the sleeve. I had to drop 14 rows, but I just and when you see it, it's just a mess, and my brain wants to panic. But when you just focus on the details and pick the right stitch and pick the right yarn, you can just fix the cable quite easily afterwards without ripping out, but just dropping 8 stitches and then put it out, and it really works pretty good. So I didn't block it, didn't wet block it. There was something with my gauge. I can't remember if I got perfect gauge or if I have to go up 1 needle size. I don't know, but I will check that when I really start the vest, and I think that will be next week or something. But until then, it goes to my swatch collection, which is really growing. I don't know what to do with them, but I love them. Okay, so that was it for today. There is more I worked on and more to share, but it's okay for today. I am really looking forward to my next knitting week, and I will make some progress on mainly on that project and the Otra cardigan, I guess, but I will tell you all about that next week. It is my plan to also make a blanket episode. Maybe I will do that next week, a blanket episode. I want to show all the blankets I own. I made a lot of blankets I gave away, but we own quite some, and I'm working on quite some, and I thought it would be funny to just make a blanket episode. So I will see how many things I have to share next week. Maybe I can do that. For now, I want to wish you a very nice week with a lot of knitting or crochet time and a lot of heart jumping moments. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye!